Yesterday I spent 3.5 hours aboard the Ibis Mojo, which is a really sweet 27.5 wheeled trail bike. Today I'm going to be riding the Transition Spur, which is a super sweet 29er trail bike. And I thought it'd be fun to make a video just talking about how the two compare. I've done videos like this before in the past comparing 27.5 versus 29, but it's been a while. And like I said, spent a long time on the 27.5 yesterday, so I'm going to hop back on the 29er and just talk through what I think about the differences. Got about 45 minutes of fire roads before I get to the descent. On the fire roads, I would say either bike feels good.
Morning.
How you doing?
All right.
I give the edge to the 29er because the tires are just a little bit more narrow than the 27.5. So I think it rolls just a little bit better on these long climbs. And by the way, the 27.5 has 2.6 inch wide tires. These are, I think, 2.4 in the front, about 2.35 in the back. How's it going, guys? All right. Oatmeal tastes better the second time. You too. All right, this beginning part is the most technical part of this whole ride that I'm doing today. Give me a really good idea of how the 29er feels over rocks. And so far, I can already tell that I feel like I'm riding just a little bit more on top of the rocks. Got a couple really tight switchbacks coming up here. Or I think the 27.5 would just be really nice. Let's see if I can make it on this bike. I've definitely made it on 29ers before. Comes one of the switchbacks. Oh, it's eroded. Ah, shoot. Well, I didn't make that switchback. It seemed a little more eroded this time than last time. Here's one, another one that's kind of tough. All right, made that one. I didn't make that other one again. It's more eroded this time. Oh, that's tough. Trail's a little more eroded than the last time I rode it.
Oh yeah, I've been up here a while.
I think that on loose, this is more of a fire road right now. It's turning into a trail, but I think on the loose rock stuff, I do feel a bit more confident on the 29er. I think it's like that inertia that you get with the wheels just makes it a bit more stable. Hey. All right, now we're on Pinhoti Trail, Pinhoti 1 to be exact. I didn't show all the climbing it took to get on this one. But so far, you know, it's hard to really pick a winner between the Ibis Mojo and the Spur, the 27.5 and the 29. I do feel like the 29 stays on top of the chatter, the rocks, the roots better, and I do feel like I have a bit more confidence on the downhill. Like the bike just doesn't get unsettled as easily. So I haven't talked about climbing yet. That's coming up later on. I want to focus on the descending part first. But I want to see how the 29er does over the rocks and roots when I'm going uphill. Now we're on Pinhoti 2. I love this trail. The top part is really flowy. The bottom part gets a little rougher, but this part is fairly smooth and flowy, and I really like on the Spur how I feel like I'm in the bike. And this kind of flowy stuff, it just, I don't know, I just like the feel of it. Just the bottom line. All right, this is the final descent of Pinhoti 2, and it gets a little bit rougher in some spots. But so far for descending, I kind of like the 29 a little bit better, just the way that you feel in the bike and also the way it hovers over the rocks and roots. But you know, it's personal preference. I had a blast on that 27.5 Mojo yesterday. I could definitely have that be my bike. All right, this is the Pinhoti 3 trail. This is going towards the main road, not the main descent going back. It's a good one. It just means I got to come back up it when I'm done. It's all right. All right, since I'm suffering on this climb, let's talk about how this bike compares to the Mojo 27.5 climbing. So when I hit rocks and roots on those climbs, I prefer the 29. Oh man, this thing's steep. So yeah, you know those routes where you look up the trail and you're like, oh no, I gotta get over that. This takes less work on the 29. Some of them on the 27.5 Mojo, you just have to pick up the front end a little bit, just unweight it. whereas the 29 kind of just rolls a little bit more. But you know, it's most people who understand wheel sizes know that's true. Oh, nasty switchback. Oh, I gotta do that again. It's been a while since I've been on this trail. I forgot some of these switchbacks are here. Oh yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, that was a good example right there, because like you come around that switchback and then you got that rock and that root. You gotta let the bike roll over it. The advantage of the 27.5 though is you can probably move the wheel around that stuff, pick the line a little bit easier. So I'd give it to the 29 on the climbing, to the Spur. Also the Spur, I mean, this is just this bike, but it's so light, about 26 pounds. The Mojo is no heavyweight either, about 28.75 I think I remember weighing it at. Really good weight for that amount of travel. All right, now I'm going back down this trail to see how the 29 or the Spur does on these switchbacks. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. I like doing these 29 versus 27.5 comparisons every once in a while because geometries are changing. If I would have done this comparison 5 to 7 years ago, I would have picked the 27.5. But 29 geometry has gotten so good lately where the bikes are agile. The 29ers used to not be agile, especially the longer travel trail bikes, enduro bikes. Now the geometry is to where the bikes are still agile, but they have that rollover ability. They're stable in the descents. But you know, there are trails where I prefer a 27.5, and I hope they don't go away because they are a blast to ride. In fact, the next day after this ride, I went out and rode an enduro course during an enduro. I didn't even know it was going on. That video is coming up. But I actually did some stages of the enduro, had an absolute blast on that Ibis Mojo 27.5. And the travel of both of those bikes, I think, make the bikes pretty comparable for the type of terrain that you're going to ride it on. Like I said, if the terrain's really tight and twisty, I like the 27.5. I would say on most trails, I prefer 29. That's just me. If you're the kind of person that you just jump off of everything, you're going to like a 27.5. So again, you know, I've done these videos in the past. I like doing them every once in a while, repeating them on different types of bikes just to see if my opinion changes. My opinion today is I slightly prefer the 29, but if that Ibis Mojo was my only bike, I would have no problems at all. All right, more videos coming up with the Ibis Mojo. Check out the channel for those. Thanks for watching.